Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are still waiting around for our next series as we get ready to hop into the semifinals next. It looks like one of the matches is already preset. It's going to be KeeN versus Terrantius, who ended up beating CSV Vanya.
Yeah, Cascades,
oh, he beat Damaga.
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, been kind of blessed lately with having like one person we don't really know in the top 4, which has been pretty cool, seeing if they can actually make a big name for themselves, excuse me. But as both semifinals are going to be ready at the same time, I think we're just going to go ahead and cast the one. Honestly, I'm going to guess KeeN's going to like 2-0, so we might even catch the other semifinal like game 2 or 3 anyway, but... Wow! Yeah. She kicked you out of the lobby!
Yeah.
Did she kick you out of the lobby?
I was never in the lobby. She invited me to a party and also to the lobby, though. And then she removed me from the party and the lobby. Olivia, you're acting like a hot mess right now. Okay. I know, right? Felt like it was appropriate. So we have KeeN versus Terrantius. Do we know anything about Terrantius?
Yeah, he's definitely participated in a tournament before. It's a name I recognize, but I don't think we've ever got the chance to cast him. He's a GM Protoss, apparently, though, from ECV.
Alright. Well, in that case, let's go to my handy-dandy analytics screens that I haven't actually used at all this entire event.
Good deal.
Yeah. Woo. Alright, so yeah, as you mentioned, a Protoss player has actually won a decent amount of money. He's a German Protoss player, won $7,000 in prize money. Doesn't seem to have the best win rate as of late, sitting around like 43%. PVT sitting around like 41%. So, granted, those are only across like 58 games or so, but hopefully we'll be able to do well, just because normally I wouldn't give too much weight to it, but he is facing off versus KeeN, who's probably like going to be a really, really hard opponent to take out.
I would give Terrantius a little bit more credit, just because, I mean, you know, GM on a pretty decent team, that's great and all, but also Protoss. So we talked about this a little bit, like, overall, right? He's, like, checking to make sure he's actually Protoss. Terrantius pretty. But anyways, that a lot of Terrans, and it seems especially the Korean Terrans, the ones that we see in our online cups, are having a lot of trouble versus Protoss. So I don't know how Terrantius plays, but both macro Protoss and cheesy Protoss are. I think Terrans are really the QQing against, man. They're like, you know what, Ultras are like okay, I guess. Vienna's shown us the way, but damn, that Protoss, like they gotta switch.
You know what? There will always be complaints about some sort of balance. Nothing is, your race will never be overpowered. So, I don't know. Just saying. But New Gettysburg is going to be the first map. I'm sort of surprised it's the first time we're finally seeing it. Normally this is one of the maps that makes it into, I guess, like the counter picks and everything much earlier, but we're only even seeing it right now because it is the first map for the semifinals. That's the way that the maps are done, by the way. For those who are unfamiliar, there are preset first maps, and then after that's just kind of counter picks. But,
yeah.
All right, we are getting started. So get ready to hop into the game for the first semifinals of the Corsair Cup number 30. Spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player from Team ECV. It's Terrantius.
In the bottom left as the blue Terran, he is KeeN.
Terrantius.
English.
Just reminds me of like a tarantula.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, tarantulas are really cute. In
my first grade class, we had a pet tarantula.
Aw. See, the thing is that for me, spiders aren't creepy or like scary because they have like, you know, all the legs and like the eyes and stuff. Like that doesn't help. But it's that most of the time they're small, so I also don't know which ones jump and which ones don't, and that's what scares me. Big honking spiders, I actually think are kind of cute because they're usually like kind of like fluffy because they're like the fur, and you know there's pink-toed tarantulas, the little pink toes. I think they're kind of cute.
Pink-toed tarantulas? What? That's a thing?
Yeah, that's like the most common. That's the most common pet type of tarantula. Actually, I think is the pink-toed tarantula.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like I'm not even sure they actually have like that pink of toes, to be honest. Like kind of like a blue-footed booby. But yeah, I looked into maybe getting one once upon a time, but I'm weird. I also keep hermit crabs, and people think hermit crabs are creepy as shit.
I think it's just you. I think you think your hermit crabs are out to try and like assassinate each other.
Well, I mean, sometimes they are. They get in like house wars, and sometimes the house wars ends in death. They're like, "Hey, I like that shell. Give it to me." No, man, stop. No, seriously, give it to me. And the guy's like, "Okay, I guess I lose," and then it just goes off and dies. It's quite sad, yo. So sometimes they do look like they're planning to murder me, though. I think that's what you're talking about. How they just like line up on the log and just stare at me.
Yes.
When I'm casting sometimes. Okay, that is a little suspicious.
I think you're the only one that feels that way.
Well, I mean, no one else sees my hermit crabs. But yo, before this game gets underway, I learned something new about Mass Effect. So I know you don't play it, but for those of the viewers do, I thought I've learned most like secrets about Mass Effect, or like the tidbits and stuff like that, the Easter eggs and whatnot. But apparently there's a thing called, you can find it on a planet that if you explore like random planets, you can find the shifty-eyed cow. And it's like this weird looking cow that it's not actually a cow, it's like a space animal with like extra arms, and it'll slowly steal your credits if you stay near it. That's why it's shifty looking. Yeah. What? You can't get it back even if you kill it.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I have lots of great stories. Anywho, there's the TvP going on.
Yeah, we had a 1-1-1 opening from KeeN, so he's going up for the fast starport, going for the quick Widow Mine drops. Of course, this was off the back of his natural expansion being taken, so nothing super surprising, but Terrantius going for the pretty typical Protoss play also. Gets up the 1-gate Robo, gets out a really fast Warp Prism. I will say this is like one of the fastest Warp Prisms you can go for off of the Nexus, where you get it before the Observer or Immortals, you get it before you throw down your second, third gateways. So it's something that he really wants to put pressure on KeeN. I would say, like you were talking about how Terran players are really struggling versus Protoss. This is one of the big things that Terran players have been struggling with, is that Warp Prism harassment coming out very early on with just a couple of Stalkers. Also say this is like a really European style, just to get out like the 4 Stalkers and then go for the Warp Prism harassment with it. Oh, actually no, this is more than just 4 Stalkers. Really interesting. I guess he's gonna elevator them into the main base.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
my God.
That might seem like it's okay because he saved it, but this is still a huge, huge problem right now.
That was super, super scary. But you're right. Like this isn't that dedicated of pressure. It is 3 gateways, not 6 or 7. But if it finds an opportunity, I mean, he has cut probes to this. He's not getting a fast third base. Well, he's building probes now, but he's not getting a fast third base. And he thought he saw an opportunity to maybe even win the game if everything had really gone topsy-turvy. The Widow Mine's always something to consider, so we can't ever really truly push up unless he can blink back with it.
Yeah, he's doing a really nice job with the Blink Micro also. With the Warp Prism, hasn't lost a single unit yet, and he's already killed off 6 workers.
There we go. That's exactly what I thought he wouldn't have the opportunity to do, which is bait out that Widow Mine, but the bunker's ready, the Liberator's ready. I don't think even if he warps in the main with the Warp Prism that this will work. I
think if you worked in Adepts and dropped these Stalkers, I think it could work. I don't think there's anything really here to defend.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. He drops the Stalkers. The focus fire on the Warp Prism didn't actually come down at all.
Oh, it doesn't get the Widow Mine, though. Adepts are going to take a big hit.
Getting that Warp Prism. Oh, get the Warp Prism.
I don't think he can safely get close enough to the Warp Prism because the Adepts are there. Now that the Adepts have been taken out, the Stalkers are able to zone out. Liberator finally comes in, but Liberators do not kill Warp Prisms very quickly. It's very important also that KeeN left 4 Marines in that bunker, preventing the rest of the Stalkers from making their way up that ramp.
Yeah. I know the Widow Mines were in range of that Warp Prism for like seconds at a time. Like that would have been like a really good micro from KeeN's part. And he's going to place them around the map now as he realizes like, okay, that was a little scarier than it had to be, although honestly with the build he chose to do, Blink Stalker Aggression was always going to be a little scary. You just don't have that much production when you go for that 1-1-1. but everything's taken care of for now. And eventually he can try and get his own units out on the map. But yeah, the Blinkstalkers, they all survived. They're going to be there looking for snipes on medevacs, dealing with mine drops almost no problem. And unfortunately, I mean, he almost was able to kill this observer just with it flying over the missile turret. I'm not sure he actually saw it because I'm pretty sure it saw the Widow Mines be picked up.
Man, if there's one change I could make to StarCraft, I would give observers a 1 damage attack.
Wow, can you not? Wait, you choose observers to have 1 damage attack instead of like High Templars having an actual attack?
No, I'm okay with High Templars not having an attack. They can turn into Archons, they can storm if they need to. Observers, can you imagine just like the cloak observer rush that just comes in and mildly harasses your mineral line?
That's terrible.
But I would need a hold fire button on it, like ghosts have, to make sure that they didn't just like set off alarm bells whenever they were like standing in one place.
Very terrible. Why would you? Cloak units are already such a little for Protoss anyway.
Yeah, I know, right? Widowmine manages to kill off 5 workers. Other one not really managing to make a whole lot happen. They do get sniped off, but the faster third for Terrantius is so ridiculously much faster than KeeN's. KeeN's is finally going to be finishing up now. Yeah. And I do feel like Terrantius is in a pretty good spot this game.
Well, his third, you know, obviously being on location because it's Protoss, is faster. It's not saturated that much faster, and the probe count, the work count's really not that well ahead either. Yeah. He didn't get to 60 immediately and immediately transfer them over. So KeeN, whenever he does feel confident changing, moving his third over, which is right now, he's gonna mule hammer, and it's probably gonna look pretty good for him. The important thing is that he didn't lose a ton of SCVs. He did lose 10 overall, but not like 20 or 30. And he didn't lose all of his army either. Like, even has these Liberators still alive to focus the attack with. And he also saved this medevac that dropped the Widow Mines, which I thought was surprising, because it almost died.
Yeah, definitely got very low. I was going to say, like, the nice thing that I like about Terrantius' positioning is he's got a lot of these Blinkstalkers, which he can continue to harass and just, I guess, chase down medevacs and all kinds of other things with. Like, it's going to be very difficult for KeeN to get damage done as long as Terrantius is doing a nice job keeping an eye out on the map. But I really do think that he needs maybe like I guess he has an observer on the south side somewhat prepared, so he can do like photon overcharges or warpins if he needs to. But yeah, I do feel like, yeah, with the War Prism moon around the center of the map, as long as he keeps an eye on that bridge, he's going to have some really nice vision to shut down any kind of harassment.
It's also, like, it really feels like lately, you know, there's a certain point where Terran just kind of give up on the whole drop aspect. In Heart of the Swarm, it was because eventually, like, High Templars would come out. Same with Liberty, and you just don't want to get feedback to death. But in Legacy of the Void, High Templars, you know, sometimes they just never come out. Like, they never bother getting High Templars. Sometimes they come out super, super late. That's not the fear anymore. I think it's just the fear that the Militia Corps is probably going to be in the main base. New Gettysburg, especially, it's very obvious where you're going to drop if you are going to drop. Right to the middle and the bottom. And, Terrantius is probably just thinking photon overcharges will take care of it, and also KeeN's not going to even try, which KeeN isn't. KeeN is focusing much more on the main attack.
All right, well, Stalker's blinking forward, gonna be able to chase off some of the Marauders and Marines. They stem backwards. KeeN just doesn't have that scary of an army without his Liberators as the backup, and a Liberator count is very, very gradually building up. He's up to now 6 Liberators, and is continuing to get out more of these Widow Mines, but I don't know if Widow Mines are going to work out super well versus how Stalker-heavy a composition Terrantius is on.
That's true. I mean, the thing is, I don't think Terrantius can focus entirely on Blinkstalkers either, though. So while the Blinkstalkers won't die to the Widow Mines, they will die to the bio, right? And that's usually why the Adepts are made in the first place. So considering that mass Warpers of Adepts should happen soon, Widow Mines are usually never a bad idea. In fact, this one is great.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Easy peasy.
If only it had an observer that could do 1 damage, that Widow Mine would not have been there, and that War Prism would have survived.
That's technically true. Ooh, we have a pretty fast transition to Stargates.
Ooh.
I guess it has been, it's been pretty macro-oriented for the last, like, 5 minutes, so I guess it's not that quick. He has his 4th base up, but maybe not for long. This Doom drop going towards the north is something that Terrantius did not expect, and KeeN was banking on that.
Well, Terrantius is doing a nice job kind of harassing at the front, setting off a Widow Mine, getting whatever free pickoffs he can. He has a couple of Adepts over the 4th. Is that going to be enough? Definitely not enough to save the expansion. Maybe enough to buy time. No, he's not even going to try. He gives it up immediately.
He's banking enough minerals to replace it, but this is unfortunate because he also just threw down a bunch of tech, you know? He just invested into the future that has now been cut here by losing the 4th base. So Tempest probably shouldn't come out, basically. Like, he might still get 1 or 2, but it's going to be, I think, too expensive to try that. And KeeN is almost maxed out. I mean, KeeN has been surprisingly defensive this entire game, and maybe it was a lot to do with that initial attack. He's been a little scared. I mentioned beforehand that just in general, these Terrans, beyond KeeN, are scared of Protoss at, you know, at every single point in a TvP, but now that he's maxed out, he knows he can provide that aggression. He is missing Liberator range, however. Surprising, so he's got so many Liberators.
Well, he's got Ghost coming out already, which is fairly early on. Gotta be very, very careful about taking this engagement over here. There's no Observer! Oh, this could do a lot of damage if Terrantius just moves a little too far forward. No.
Oh, he saw them.
Oh!
That's really cool.
Well done.
Yeah, he thinks there's an
What are these
observer.
Widowmines doing? What?
Wait, what?
Do they not
What?
attack hallucinations if they're scout? What?
Oh, he was hold positioning, I guess. Like, he didn't want
Oh,
to, but
okay.
he also didn't want to. He also didn't want to uproot them in case the Stalkers came back. That looked so weird.
That I was like, wait a second. If you detect that they're hallucinations, do you not attack them? I'm actually gonna double check that after this game.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened. The scan ran out. That's crazy. Okay, well, the game continues. Future interesting fact of Fear Dragon on the way.
All right.
And with the 4th base about secured now for Terrantius, it's actually literally finishing up right now. The probe's transferred over. He does go back to having a decent economy. KeeN's the one that's really exploding in economy, though. He not only adds on a 4th base, but a 5th and 6th as well. And it's pushing forward with a very good army.
High Templars do have Storm. We're gonna be able to get a couple of Storms down, clean up one of the Widow Mines, and pushing this army back little by little. But the Ghost gets some nice EMPs off. Not really getting a lot of the High Templar, but softening up a lot of the Gateway units, especially these Stalkers. But blink forward, trying to take out Liberator number 1, 2, 3. 3 are left, and it's gonna be a full retreat for Terrantius. I don't think he can take on this army unless he gets some magnificent Storms. Those are some pretty good Storms.
Yeah, but I think he's out. The Liberator's gonna move forward. He has his high ground here, but
he's gonna have another storm soon. He's gonna have a storm in a couple seconds. Oh no, he just doesn't have enough units though.
Yeah, there's that storm, but there's all Marauders anyway, and a lot of medevacs up here to heal. DT comes in as an emergency. Scan does need to go down for KeeN or an EMP.
Oh. But KeeN's just taking the map right now. He's taking his 4th expansion, his 5th expansion, his 6th expansion all at the same time because he knows.
That type of attack is something that I think Terrantius needing to wait for his Tempest for. Like, it was in the middle of the map. Like, the concave of the Terran was pretty brutal. He wasn't quite at his upgrades. And waiting for the Tempest for the range probably would have been a better idea. Or just having Tempest earlier, but I think that, you know, he did lose the 4th base for so long that it was going to be hard to afford to max out and also get Tempests. Like, KeeN got maxed out and also got Liberators and Ghosts.
Yeah. I think maybe Terrantius would, I was going to say, like, would have tried to stay in the game and make it work if he had been able to save that 4th expansion. Like, have some hope of a counterattack now that he has Tempest out. But as you were saying before, like, the economy, even before, like, those 4th, 5th, and 6th expansions went down, KeeN just had an amazing economy. He already has a ridiculously higher supply in army.
Yeah. They actually could use the graphs, which you can't. It does show that much more consistently, and just much better whenever there are spikes. They all went to KeeN. And of course now it's spiking super huge, just easy clearly winning. But
the Incan graph is the one graph I can use, by the way.
Oh, okay, good. Then you can see that. So it also was a case where after the initial attack, he really didn't lose a lot of units, you know, where Terrantius was constantly trying to harass and break him. Oh, that was like almost GG.
KeeN takes game number 1 and takes the lead in the semifinals.
Other semifinals still not ready to go. That's a PVT between Tails and Avocado that Terran would cast. I'm a little surprised about that.
Oh, what are they waiting on? Tails
there's
Avocado, I see.
Yeah, Guru's waiting.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we're getting ready to hop, into the next game. Do we want to go to ad break?
No, usually you see that for the second
Okay.
game.
I just don't remember when we went to an ad break, so.
Before the start of this.
Gotcha.
It's a bit of downtime though. That's interesting what happens.
All right. Well, I don't know. Like, I felt like if that engagement, because I agree, I think if he had waited for the Tempest, but not just waiting for the Tempest, I think if he had been able to take that engagement at a place where, as you said, there wasn't such a ridiculous concave for the Bioforce, a couple of good storms would have done wonders over there. Or even just like, I guess, waiting for some of that, more of that storm energy, because there were a lot of times where it was like, oh, High Templar is here, but it has like 70 energy or 65 energy, needs like a little bit more time. So I feel like if he had just been able to take a slightly better engagement, that would have been a much, much closer game. Like, I don't think that there was a lot that he did wrong in the earlier stages.
It was an impressive game. That was Terrantius, a guy that we really don't know that well, taking it to like almost 20 minutes, whatever it was. So, kudos to him. He does choose Galactic Process as his next map. We're about ready to go.
Yep. Another one of those maps I don't have a map intro for.
Great. Just use Old Cloud Kingdom map.
Old Cloud Kingdom.
Did you even have a map intro for that one?
I might have. Let me check. I don't think so.
I feel kind of bad. Or like, he watched the map, the tournament, and he's been around the chat, and whenever I mention it's like Cloud Kingdom, he's kind of like, oh, it feels bad.
Who?
But maker for Galactic Process.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So I feel a little bad whenever I mention it because he doesn't seem to.
Look,
he's
it
like,
even has
crying
the S
about
on
it,
the
but-
map, okay? When you have the S, you can't complain.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna hop into it as we start off the game. And we're gonna spawn up here in the top right-hand corner of the map on top of the red Protoss player. Let's see if we can bring it back. Give it up for the German, Terrantius.
On the bottom left, as the blue Terran, he is KeeN.
All right, I know we had a couple of resubs during that last game. I know we just got a resub from Scaland. Thank you so much for the 6-month resub. And if you have Twitch alerts pulled up, can you do the sub shoutouts? Because otherwise I have to like manually scroll back through the chat and look for them.
Sure. I just realized, yeah, I haven't been hearing any of the Twitch alert sounds. Wah.
I know I saw a
Twitch
couple
alerts.
during the game.
So I don't even know where we would have left off last time. I think we left off on Ronin dude for 13 months. So there was a Maracod for 5 months, and then CK Walsh for 9 months, Gleburb for 9 months, and yeah, Scaland for 6 months. Thanks all for the resubs. Sorry I missed it.
Okay, well, this is an interesting map. Like, this is that map that I always say, like, oh, you know, third expansion, much easier to defend because you got like those 2 sets of rocks that are gonna protect it. Except when it comes to like this matchup, I feel like this is the matchup where I always just think warp prisms and medevac drops are just so abusable in the early game on this map. And we saw that KeeN tried to make like the medevac drops with the Widow Mines and stuff work in that last game, but wasn't really able to. I think like the most amount of damage was he got like 1 Widow Mine with like 5 kills 10 or 15 minutes in the game. It's like, oh, I'm already sitting at 65 work. It's not a big deal. So I feel like maybe Terrantius can, if he goes for like a similar opening, goes for the fast 1-gate robo, he could really make something work here.
Yeah, a lot of that game was passive from KeeN. No, not defensive. That's the word I'm looking for. Defensive from KeeN. After the Blink Stalker attack that really stopped him from having those medevac drops work out like he wanted. And that might have been a consequence of taking that damage from the Blink Stalkers. Which that was very well handled by Terrantius for a very long time. But it also might just be the way that KeeN plays. I'm not sure. So, not sure if we're going to see like hyper aggression be able to change things up. It does seem to be another Widow Mine drop though. And if Terrantius goes for the same Blink Stalker attack, I could actually see like in a certain scenario, again, KeeN like late on the bunker or just not anticipating something like that. That could have really worked out. And of course, Galactic Process, Cloud Kingdom, we just talked about it. Blink Stalkers like used to be the thing to do, but it's not.
That's a good point. I didn't actually think too much about that, but I guess one of the big differences is with Cloud Kingdom, you didn't have those rocks over by the third.
Yeah.
So. It was a bit easier to move up into the position and blink up into the main base.
Absolutely. And I swear to God, whenever I play this map, I do accidentally think it's Cloud Kingdom. Like, I'll try and move down the ramp or to the left, because, you know, there weren't rocks there, but then I'll realize I made a mistake. But well, it's not Blink Stalkers. The Warp Prism can still provide a little bit of an opportunity to control. And it should hopefully scout that KeeN's actually not going for a Widowmine drop. He's going for a tank push, which is very odd. Galactic Process? Huh.
You know, I guess I don't hate it that much, because if you think about it, one of the big things that makes Blink Stalkers really nice on this map is there's a lot of surface area between that third expansion area and the main base, where, you know, you can blink up from the low ground to the high ground. And similarly, you have that same sort of situation where it's like Siege Jinx could be sieged up close-ish to the low ground, or close-ish to the high ground on the low ground, and be able to take out some of the production. So maybe this could work. I think one of the big problems, though,
sure.
yeah, one of the big problems may just be that he's going to be on the defensive the entire time versus the Stalkers.
You know what? If this was Blink, I think he might have just won. Like, one tank could have been microed against, and the bunker wasn't ready. But without Blink, running into the tank is just a little bit too scary. Ooh. Yeah, it'll take too long, take too many shots.
Yeah, Cyclone, though, if he gets a lock onto the Warp Prism, could put an end to this push. Gotta be very careful about that. Here comes in the drop, though. Photon Overcharge is gonna be ready and available on one pylon now, but is that gonna actually be enough to completely deal with this? He might have to warp in some units back at home, which is gonna really soften up his push.
Yeah. Well, his push was already not working with that tank position as it was, and maybe that tank was just because he expected some aggression like this again. You know, he'll probably bring it with him whenever he does attack, but this wasn't one of those frozen temple tank pushes, which would have been amusing to see, but probably not very good.
Yeah, Cyclone doing a really nice job denying the drop of those Stalkers into the main base. If they had actually been able to get over there and the Warp Prism was able to warp in some more units, that could have seriously caused some problems, because you're talking about like how there wasn't really a whole lot back at home to defend. Well, if the Siege Tank's out of position and there's only like 5 Marines, I think you basically just die if there's a warp in.
Yeah, that is certainly true. It is like KeeN is playing again defensive. You know, I think he could have fit a Widowmine or even 2 and still had the tank just in time, especially if the bunker was a little bit earlier. But instead he went for this tank. He like really thought this was gonna happen. That was a cool move. Ooh. The Adept taking all those shots. There's enough production. Again, they're not Blink Stalkers, so there's never gonna be a lot of like game-ending potential.
Yeah, but I don't think he needs game-ending potential. It's more just like he went for these Stalkers, he's basically committed to them, and has them, so he's like, let me get some value out of them. So taking out the Siege Tank really allows him not just the ability to like get some damage done, but it opens up more opportunities for attack later on. So like now, he's getting a Blink and everything. If he keeps these Stalkers alive, he can get pickoffs on a couple of Marines here and there. Gotta be really careful. Some of these Stalkers are really low in health.
The way that he's been playing, though, really feels like he thought there could be some game-ending potential. Just because that, I feel like, you know, like, obviously KeeN is scared. He got a tank as opposed to the Widowmine drop or, like, you know, a barracks build or something like that. And you don't really commit to any more warp-ins. You just defend, and you get a much faster third base that's, you know, been up for, like, 2 minutes. It's only just finished. In this game, I love Blink Stalkers, or just Stalker aggression, I guess, in general, as this was just the Stalkers for a long time, because it can really psych out a Terran who's already, I think, psyched out. Like, KeeN has been playing pretty defensive these 2 games.
Absolutely.
And it can stop them from trying to push out at all, even with, like, drops. But the advantages he got from that aggression, I don't think it's enough. KeeN still has this really good army. He's going to have all his upgrades, and Terrantius is only going to have Blink Stalkers with an upgrade. That's not that scary for Bio.
Yeah, and the biggest problem I would say is that he only has 3 warp gates left over, because he did commit quite heavily into like warping in a lot of those Stalkers, and not just with the aggression, he defensively also continued to warp in more Stalkers behind all this. And I do feel like if he had maybe been able to chase this army across the map as it moved in, blink backwards, force out more stims, kill off a couple Marines here and there, like this may have looked a little bit different, but the army just makes it across the map pretty much unimpeded. He's may just be relying on Photon Overcharges at this point, and I think he already lost some of the energy for Photon Overcharge defending against the drop, so not even gonna have that many of them.
He could just reposition too. Oh, he's gonna go for it. Pylon instantly goes down. Liberator can't really be dealt with. He'd blink into bio when he's trying to blink away.
He's not even throwing out the footstone overcharges. I guess he threw out one on the pylon as it died, which maybe was a bit of a mistake. If these pylons were around now, he maybe will get some more damage done. But yeah, the stalkers just get absolutely obliterated. Adept's being warped in, but I think it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, I think so as well. KeeN's gonna take it. GG.
Takes the 2-0 and moves on to the grand finals of the Corsair Cup number 30.
The other semifinal did start. It was Guru versus Tails. So we're probably going to have to try and catch the game number 2. Actually, Guru's at a game. Maybe they haven't started.
Well, they were told that they could start 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure that out. But first, we're going to go to a quick 2-minute break.